Alright guys, if your charging system output is low or non-existent, so your battery isn't charging, your alternator stator coil wires and leads should be checked properly for continuity. You will find the stator underneath the left-hand engine cover, and it looks like this. However, when you take the cover off, you won't see this because over the stator is the rotor. And to remove the rotor, you do need a rotor removing tool. You can still check the continuity of the stator whilst it is in place if you haven't taken it out already. You have to first of all locate the stator coil electrical connector, which is underneath the front sprocket cover. There is this 4-pin plug. This is where your electrical connector is. Unplug it. It's unplugged in this case because there's not much left on this bike, but on your bike you will need to unplug it. And using a multimeter, you need to check for continuity across the 3 phases that the stator has. This isn't just one big mass of windings, there are actually 3 loops of wires, and they are depicted by the 3 plugs. And there's this yellow plug as well. So, and it looks like this, 3 black and 1 yellow. And that yellow wire in this plug only goes down to this little switch here, which you can see. This is the neutral switch. And if your bike is not in neutral gear, then this is a breaker switch, which breaks the signal from the stator to the CDI to prevent sparking at the coils, so the bike won't be able to start if your bike is in gear. And to check for continuity and to check the ohmage, this is what we do. First thing we need to do is check for continuity. That means we are checking to make sure there are no breaks in the windings, the phases of the stator. And the way I do this is, first of all, I check the wires against each other. So you put your multimeter into continuity modus so that when you put the prongs together it will make a noise, you can hear it. We check each of the 3 wires against each other. So I put the prong in one wire and check against the other 2. So I've now checked this one against these 2, and now I check the 3rd one for continuity. So I've now checked each of the wires against each other, the continuity is there. But you're also checking for lack of continuity of each wires to earth on the bike. And unlike the continuity between each cable, you do not wish to have continuity between the wires and the earth of the engine or the earth of the bike. So put one prong into the bike somewhere. I'll poke it in this hole, and then just using the other prong, I will then check that there is no continuity between the other 3 wires in the plug. And this one looks fine by me. There's no continuity here at all. So this stator is fine as far as continuity is concerned. So now I'll move over to the minimum ohmage position. And I can now check the ohmage, which according to the Haynes manual should be between 0.1 and 0.8 ohms. And this one is 1.2. The second wire is also 1.2. So now I'll measure the 3rd one, and it is also giving me 1.2 ohms. It's slightly over, but that's fine. So that is how to check your stator for continuity and for ohmage, to see if there are any breaks in the wiring.